Good morning, everyone. I apologize. I am a couple minutes late for our 7:30 coffee chat with Coach Candy. I think Mercury is trying to mess with me one last time. So anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you have found the last couple days incredibly valuable. For those of you that might just be jumping on for the first time, just know that this is what we're going to do every morning. We've got a theme every week. Good morning, Michelle. Welcome, welcome. So just to remind y'all, those of you that are joining for the first time, this is Coffee Chats with Candy, Coach Candy. And what we're going to do is on Mondays, we do Monday Motivation, Monday Mindset. So really trying to jumpstart your week, put you in a position to really excel, have the right mindset, clear out some of those beliefs, and get your game going at the best level. Tuesday is all about training. So yesterday we went through some training on your morning routine. So we talked about the importance of why your morning is absolutely critical and the most important part of your day. And I gave you some strategies and some things to consider for creating new discipline and new things that you could be doing for your mornings. Today, Wednesday, in just a moment, we are going to talk about Wednesday Wonder. So we are going to move from that very negative anchoring space of what if and jump into a space of imagine if in a really powerful way. And we're going to do that in just a moment. Thursday, then, tomorrow is Thursday Throwdown. Good morning, Martha. Tomorrow will be Thursday Throwdown, so I will be laying down a challenge for you to take on for the next week. These are challenges to purposely push you out of your comfort zone. This is going to be the stuff that might scare you a little bit, but it's going to be the stuff that definitely is going to grow you. And then Friday is going to be Feature Friday or Friday Feature. Good morning, Elaine. The Friday feature is all about me sharing resources and tools, especially the books and podcasts that I love so much. Y'all know I read a book a week and want to be able to share that with you. So good morning, good morning. For those of you that have been on this week, before we jump into Wednesday Wonder, I would love to hear if you were able to take on any new discipline. Good morning, Tim. If you were able to take on any new discipline as it relates to your morning routine. So before we get into the big imaginative space and our wonder space today, just want to check in on the discussion from yesterday. And by the way, cheers, I have my coffee going again. Has anybody put any new discipline in? Did they start their morning off a little differently? Did you do anything to take accountability on what we talked about yesterday? Just curious to see where y'all are at. Any new things you tried on? Remember, we talked about how to wake up with gratitude, talked about how to really create that first step of something that you could accomplish, which was something as simple as making your bed. And then really the three pieces around giving yourself that movement first thing in the morning where you're going to sweat, you're going to actually get the endorphins going, and then a place to reset and recharge in terms of your spirituality, your connection to yourself, and then setting intention for the day. So just curious if any of you took that on. Would love to see in the comments as you're starting to comment and wake up and get on board this morning. Let's talk about what Wednesdays are all going to be about. Wednesdays are going to be this space for us to really dare. And I say dare because a lot of times it takes courage and an opportunity to be brave. Oh, I love that, Martha. You meditated this morning. So did I. And by the way, those of you that find meditation really challenging, I will say that there is a good morning, Terry. I will say that there's a couple tools for those of you that have wanted to learn how to meditate or wanted to try that space. There are a couple tools that I'm going to share with you that are really powerful that can help you take that on, kind of get comfortable with that and see what that might feel like for you. One is the Calm app. It's C-A-L-M, Calm. And what they do is they have 10-minute meditations, and you can get the app for free or you can pay for the very minimal membership to get more options. But it also has incredible white noise that you can play. Another white noise app I'll tell you about later, but Calm, what it allows you to do is 10 minutes of meditation, and it's a guided meditation to really help you focus on some centering thoughts and some things that way. Headspace is another one. Also can do 10 to 20 minute meditations. So just those ways to get started. And I would say that right now, it started yesterday, but you can still sign up. Oprah and Deepak Chopra are doing one of their 21-day free meditations. So they do a challenge that is actually set up, designed to create meditations around a specific theme. And right now it's all about how gratitude creates grace in your life. And I will tell you that the meditations are incredibly powerful. So Martha, I'm so glad that you meditated this morning. For those of you that want to try that on, you might try the Calm app, Headspace, or the amazing 21-day challenge that's going on right now with Deepak and Oprah. Phenomenal. Oprah kind of sets the tone, and then Deepak goes in and works you through a meditation. The whole thing takes about 20 minutes, and it's actually quite beautiful. So just another tool and resource for you all. So let's talk about this space of wonder. I would like to know, when you hear the phrase, what if? What are the typical things we play what if about? So I want you to think about when you are thinking about taking on the next challenge, or you're thinking about the next big opportunity, or you're thinking about growing your business or stepping out and transitioning away from maybe the corporate sector or something that you're doing. What are the types of what ifs that tend to show up when you say, what if, ... And so I'm curious, with those of you that are on the call this morning, what are some of the what ifs you play in your mind? And y'all, I can keep talking to you, or you guys can throw your thoughts in, because I'd love to work more with your stuff than just me talking at you. So let me know, what are some of those what ifs that you play with? Take some coffee while you're thinking. Okay, so I'll throw one down. For example, what if I fail? That's a big one that we play with, right? And so think about the what if I fail. Think about what happens when you say, what if I fail? I want you to think about how in your body that feels right now. Where do you feel it, first of all? When you think about what if I fail, where do you feel it? Where does it show up for you? And how does it feel? And I know that I'm actually having some technology problems this morning. Oh, there we go. What if I don't know how to do what I'm wanting to do? Thank you, Elaine. I love that. So that goes into the same kind of space of what if I fail. But what if you don't know how to do what you're wanting to do? So let's kind of play the what if, and let's kind of dig into that space a little bit. So what shows up then when we say, what if I don't know what to do, right? What if I don't know how to do what I'm wanting to do? What's the next? What are some of the layers of what if that show up? And or how is it feeling for you? When you think about that, Elaine, what shows up for you? When you think about, what if I do not know how to do what I want to do? And my mouth is not working this morning. What if I don't know how to do what I really want to do? What kind of emotion, what kind of feeling shows up for you in that space? Okay, yeah, so Martha, what if I fail? Terry, what if I took more shots on a goal? And actually, I'm going to turn that one into an imagine if in just a moment, because typically the what ifs, and the question is, and it might not be an imagine if yet, it could be still a what if, because I want you to think about, when you say what if, think about that. What if I fail? What if I do take more shots in my business and they don't work out? What if I don't know how to do what I really want to do? What does that feel like in your body? Where do you feel it, and how does it feel? Fear shows up in your chest, right? It shows up in that space. What else shows up in your chest sometimes? Or what else shows up when you have fear? Tight around your heart, because you usually have that kind of anxious feeling, right? That oh my God, what if? Because typically when we say what if, it's a really negative, it's a really kind of anchoring space that does tend to show up either in our chest or tightness around your heart, or it could also show up as kind of that space of, I want to throw up, right, in my stomach. And here's the one thing I want you to realize. First of all, those feelings are absolutely real, And they're, you know, they're common with everybody. Whenever there's something new, we have that kind of space where we automatically default into that what if, what if, what if, what if. And a lot of times it's what if the sky is falling? What if the other shoe drops? What if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if I do all this work to work on my funnel or whatever I'm doing and nobody shows up? Nobody likes doubt, inadequacy. I love, these are the words that show up, right? These are real feelings. But what I want you to consider for a moment is that same space between your chest and your stomach where that fear, that anxiousness, that doubt, that inadequacy, that what if space is kind of playing around and getting things moving. I want you to realize that it's the same trigger in your body as when you feel excitement. And so I want you to think about that for a minute. I want you to think about the fact that when you feel that instant, ooh, it is actually the same feeling you feel when something excites you. What happens is in about 5 seconds, and for those of you that haven't read Mel Robbins' 5-second rule, highly encourage you to read that. We'll get into that later on as well. But there's like this 5-second gap for your brain to recognize what something is before it starts to create the story and the belief behind it. So I want you to think about for just a minute. Good morning, Kristen. I want you to think about that opportunity that when that fear, when that big what if, when that heavy statement of what if I fail, what if I'm inadequate, what if I show up and nobody likes me, what if I don't know how to do what I really want to do, what if, what if, what if, and we start to create that energy in our body, that's that fear, that anxiousness, that feeling of doubt or inadequacy. I want you to realize that within 5 seconds of that initial, ooh, I'm feeling the stomach kind of do the little, ooh, right? Or the tightness around my heart. Actually, my heart would be on this side. I'm looking in the camera and my heart's over here. In my heart, or the tightness in my chest. What you don't realize sometimes is you have 5 seconds to change how you choose to settle into that emotion. Because that initial trigger, all it takes is 5 seconds for you to connect the story to it, for you to connect the belief, for you to connect the energy around it. So you can instantly, when that feeling shows up, which is the same feeling as when excitement shows up, something that you're super excited about, I want you to realize that you have an opportunity to say, I'm afraid, or what if all this happens, or step into a place to dance and think about what you're excited about. And so that moves us then into this place, this powerful place of imaginative. So I want you to think about for just a minute, if you're feeling fear and doubt and anxiousness and inadequacy as some of the feelings on when you play the what if, think about what happens now when I say, just simply say, without even putting anything behind it, imaginative. What shifts, what changes for you as we start to say imaginative instead of what if? Does something change for you? And I'm going to wait until I hear from some of you to see if that changes. Does something change when you hear the imaginative instead of that what if? Does something start to move in your body? Does it feel different? What do you experience? Possibility. Oh, I love that word, possibility. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Possibility. I smile. Yeah, does it feel lighter? Does it feel lighter? I love that. Thank you, Terry. Feels lighter, right? Because when you get into a space of imaginative, you already are giving instruction to your imagination to start to play. So then the inner child in you wakes up and says, hey, I'm here. Wait a minute. This is something we're excited about. I get to play with this. Takes you from fear to excitement. Hopeful. I love that. I love these words. This is exactly the difference. So I used to tell people, I used to work with my clients and say, whenever that what if comes up, whenever that big, powerful, what if I fail? What if I don't know how to do this? What if, what if, what if? Then I want you to reset and say 5 powerful, positive what ifs instead. And what I realized is that's only taking you to a little bit of the next level. Instead, what I want you to think about is going from that really debilitating, really negative, really anchoring what if into this really powerful, passionate, possibility-filled imaginative. So let's try that for a minute. Let's try one of the what ifs, right? What could be? negative to a positive. I love this. I love that you guys are feeling that, right? So say, for example, let's do the one around what if I fail? That is a common one that we throw down no matter what, especially as entrepreneurs or as you're transitioning maybe into that new space from corporate into your own business or corporate into the next job, or now you're leading a team, or maybe you're transitioning and you're getting a divorce, whatever that might be. There's a lot of that what if, right? And one of the underlying what ifs is, what if I fail? So let's think about now how to shift that into the imagine if space. So if the what if space is negative, anchoring, and it's all of the things that, by the way, most of the time have never even happened. So when we think about what if we fail, we often go, what if I fail? What if I suck? What if they don't like me? What if I can't pay my rent? What if I can't support my family? What if? And then it's just this litany and this ongoing cycle of what if crap we dump all over ourselves because we got to make a bullshit story to go with it. Most of the time, the what ifs we play have never even happened. What if I go bankrupt? What if this? What if that? And we start to create a story to make that real. So what happens is we're actually putting more energy into a what if space than that imagine if, because the imagine if is something that's already with us. It's something we already dream about. It's something that we already kind of get excited about, and we have that opportunity to dance in the space of possibility. So if what if I fail is the negative and all the what ifs, let's just do the first imagine if, and then I'm going to ask you guys to play along. Imagine if you succeed. What then? Keep playing on the imagine if. Imagine if you succeed. Then what? Tell me what you imagine next if you start to change that what if I fail into a imagine if I succeed. Imagine if I ... fill in the blanks, you guys. What are some of the other imagine ifs that come up when you start to think about imagine if I succeed? What else? Imagine if. Tell me what else is an imagine if for you. I'll throw another one out for you. Imagine if you create massive impact. Imagine if you could reach more people and influence greater change. Imagine if all the leads I have for my business land at the same time. Imagine if, wow, that's a big one. That gives me kind of chills. Imagine if all the leads you have for your business land at the same time. Imagine if you succeed so much, you get to hire and create jobs for other people. Ooh, that's exciting. I get to hire a team, right? Imagine if you get to hire your own team and create an organization around your movement or your mission. Imagine if you could help a mom who's transitioning into a new space. Do you see where the imagine if can start to go? If I succeed, I will feel good about myself. Okay, so think about that. That one actually hits a little nerve for me. Because think about, we talk about worthiness. We talk about some of that mindset on Monday, right? Imagine if you succeed at a level that makes you feel fulfilled, feel happy, feel worthy, feel like you're showing up as your best and highest self. Imagine that for a moment. Like relish in that, dance in that, feel what that feels like as if it's already here for you. Imagine if I'm free from all my worries. Think about that for a minute. Let's just stay in that space for just a moment. I want you to really marinate and like relish in the space of these imagine ifs. How do you feel now? How do you feel when you think about imagine if all my worries were dissolved? Imagine if I woke up every day with a heart full of joy and love and just this desire to serve. Imagine if I realized I get to do all this and I get to make these choices and I feel so blessed. And imagine when, I love that because then that's the when, that's the visualization, and that actually is the next level. So we go from what if to imagine when, as if it's here, you're feeling it, you're visualizing it. We're going to work on some visualization tools as we go through things. So imagine when, changing that a bit, according to Terry, I reach 1 million teens to help them find their identity. Imagine impacting 1 million teenagers. Imagine impacting 1 million people. Imagine showing up differently for your families. Imagine if you could influence more people in a positive way and you can help more people. I love this. Think about that. Think about how that feels, right? Think about how and where that feels in your body. So how are you feeling that when you're playing all these possibilities? By the way, it's all about imagining the possibilities. And there's infinite possibilities in the power of yes. When you truly say yes to yourself, when you play in a space to imagine if, and open up access to your inner child, to your imagination, to that space of wonder, you then start to show up so much more powerfully and wide open and receive more. So think about, well, how does that feel right now? How are you guys feeling, thinking about and playing with right now your imagine if and your imagine when, as if it's already here? Because it already, imagine is, right? Imagine it is. Imagine now. You can change that, imagine anything you want, but imagine it. Visualize it. Give it color, give it feeling. Where's it showing up for you now? How does it feel in your body? What emotions, what feelings are you having now? Love this. I love this. Imagine if we created a movement around worry freedom, as big as the movement to find financial freedom. And actually, Terry, I love that. And I'm going to change that just a little bit, because I'm going to sit in the philosophy that Mother Teresa used, which is, I will never focus on pushing against something. And worry is one of those debilitating spaces that keeps us down. So I would call it peace freedom. I would call it joy freedom. I would call it fulfillment freedom. Because anytime we focus on something that is negative, like I want to be debt free, you're going to find that you attract more debt. Versus I want financial freedom. I want to be financially free. So if we're in any capacity speaking, talking about the worry, then what we're going to do is we're going to bring more opportunities for people to be in that space. So I would change that movement to the peace freedom, the joy freedom, the fulfillment freedom, the standing in your own light freedom, the living life on your terms freedom, the being wide open and light freedom, whatever that might be. So I would just throw that out as a caveat so that we're not holding on to, because Mother Teresa would say, I will never support an anti-war movement. I will always support a pro-peace movement. And so I want you to think about the power of those words and connecting to the space that feels so much more where we're going, because it's always about what you're moving towards versus what you're trying to push away from. Because anytime there's a push or a pull, know that we've got a force, versus when we move towards, we're standing in our power and it's more open and more receiving. And so let's see. Martha, if I can help many people, I feel joy that radiates from me. I love this, Terry. My heart is bulging out of my body. I love this. Ooh, joyful freedom, right? Doesn't that feel different? It feels so different. Think about that for a minute. How different does it feel to say we need worry freedom, or do we need joyful freedom? Doesn't that feel different in your body? Doesn't it feel different in terms of how it drives that moral obligation, that mission, that fire, that space to say, we have a movement? And guess what? All it takes is two people to start a movement. It takes one person with a vision and another person to get on board. That's it. It doesn't take this mass collective amount of people to start a movement. It takes the one person having a vision. If you've never seen the video of the guy that's just rocking out, dancing, looking like a fool, and everybody's making fun of him at like some outdoor event. And then all of a sudden the second guy, and the second guy is the brilliant one, he starts to rock out and dance with the guy. And the next thing you know, the masses come. Because all it takes is one to get momentum going, to get to the tipping point. And so when you think about that joyful freedom, ooh, standing in your own light freedom. I love that. You guys are gonna make me cry. There's something about this that's just like, don't you feel alive this morning? Don't you feel awake and like on fire? Again, why I do this at 7:30 in the morning, it sets the tone for your whole day. Imagine if we created a movement around joyful freedom. We created a movement around standing in your own light freedom. Flow, not force. Receive, don't fight. Love that. I love these comments, you guys. My theme video, how to start a movement, otherwise known as Naked Guy Dancing on a Hill. I love that. Oh my God, that was such an awesome video. So funny. And then the one Candy dance for us. Oh yeah, well, you know, you can always put my ridiculous dancing out there. That'll get a few laughs. Or anytime I'm on singing. So I want you to imagine. So today, your assignment, and I'm gonna give you an assignment for today. I want you to dare to stand in a space of your big imagine if. I want you to think about that thing that's been scaring you the most, and it's going to tap into some of our challenge tomorrow, because remember, tomorrow is Thursday Throwdown. So I'm going to throw a very big challenge for you guys to engage in the next week. But tomorrow is Throwdown Thursday. And before we get into Throwdown Thursday, I want you to stand in a space to imagine if, in the big space that's been holding you back. I want you to think about your biggest fear right now. I want you to think about your biggest what if that you've been cycling over and over. Over and over and over in your mind on the freedom to others. I love this. So I want you to think about that big fear, that big what if, that big limiting belief that's been sitting in your mind when you're like, what if? And then I want you to shift it. I want you to play until you're exhausted. And I want you to come up with at least 5 to 10 imagine if statements that counters that big, nasty, ugly, fearful, heavy what if, and I want you to play. I want you to play because one of the things we're going to work on as we get into next week is really the space of visualization. We're going to talk about your evening reflection. We're going to talk about how to tap into the power of your imagination when you sleep and what you can do and some tools and resources that you have. But for right now, your assignment is to take that big, hairy, scary, ugly, icky what if that's been looming over you like the little cloud that Eeyore has walking around where he's like, okay, Pooh, it's okay, Pooh. I want you to think about your Pooh statement. Yes, I just said that. Your Pooh statement. Your big, ugly what if. And I want you to dance. I want you to dance. I want you to play. I want you to come up with 5 to 10 imagine if statements. And if you're willing to step into a little courage and be a little brave, I encourage you to share your imagine ifs either on this thread or back on my page, Candy Barone, trainer, speaker, coach, so that we can help support and celebrate you. There is power when you share how you're feeling, what you're doing. This is my Pooh statement under every other what if I give myself. Our deepest fear by Marianne Williamson. Oh, I love that poem. Our deepest fear is that we are not, let me read that. I'm going to read this poem, and that's a great way to close. So I encourage you, before I read this as a close for today, and thank you, Terry, for sharing that. It is absolutely my favorite poem. One of my absolute, due north, compass directions, keeps me in a space to remind myself, as well as the quote I shared with you that says, if you believe that what you have brings value to others, then you have a moral obligation to share that in every way possible. And so I want you to dance. Your assignment is to take that big, hairy, scary Pooh statement of a what if and translate that, turn that into a powerful imagine if. 5 to 10 imagine if statements, at least one really juicy one. And if you want to take your assignment to the next level, share that with this community so that we can support and celebrate you. With that, let me see if there's any more comments. No, I am going to close out with this poem, Our Deepest Fear by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in every one. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And so with that, I hope you dance powerfully in your imagine if. I can't wait to see your posts on what your big imaginative statements are, because as soon as you declare it, as soon as you give life to it, as soon as you say it, it starts to have power, and you start to open up access to receive it. So I so adore all of you. Thank you again for showing up with me. I have such a massive amount of gratitude for all of you being here at 7:30 in the morning and being so wide open and sharing and contributing and just being present. So with that, I love all of you. I adore you, and I'm sending you huge heart-to-heart hugs that you dance magnificently, fabulously in your imaginative space and dare to dream of all the possibilities that are infinitely available to you. I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday Throwdown. Same time, same place, 7:30. See you then. Make it a fabulous and amazing and rock star day.